How and why do we celebrate Halloween in Ireland? The connection between Halloween and Ireland is as strong and powerful as the evil spirits who have always come out to play their tricks at this time of year. Halloween has its origins in the Celtic Festival of Samhain. The word Samhain is rooted in the word Sam, meaning summer, and Fuin, meaning end. Samhain was very much like New Year's in that the old was cast aside to make room for new life. The tradition of the bonfire at Halloween is linked to Samhain as a fire festival celebrated over the night of the 31st of October. The Celts would have celebrated the end of the cycle when all of the crops would have been harvested and stored indoors. The celebration would have marked the end of the harvest season and the arrival of the darkness of winter. Farm animals would be brought inside to shelter from the ravages of the oncoming winter. It was also at this time that the souls of the departed would return to their homes. The changing of the seasons was seen as a threshold by the ancient people when the boundaries between the world of the living and the dead crossed. The ancient Irish stories tell us of Tlachtga, the red-haired daughter of the arch-druid Mug Ruith, who died at the Hill of Ward in County Meath, giving birth to triplets. The people celebrated the great fire festival on the spot that she died at Samhain in her memory. The Hill of Tara can be seen from Tlachtga and surely must have been a magical spectacle for the ancient people in attendance. Our modern day Halloween has some very deep roots in our culture going back millennia. The arrival of Christianity in Ireland led by St. Patrick saw the old pagan customs been replaced with Christian celebrations. November the 1st became All Souls' Day, and the connection with the pagan customs surrounding the dead is very clear. The evening before was known as Hallow Eve, and it's not surprising that became Halloween. The tradition of dressing up at Halloween can be traced back to Celtic times. The people would light fires, wear masks and make noise in an attempt to confuse the spirits and drive them away from the people's homes. The masks also prevented the dead spirits from identifying and exacting revenge on their enemies gathered during lifetime. The pucka, an Irish fairy, which blasted any apples that had not been harvested, thus making them inedible. Pucka, pronounced puka, could take the form of any animal and caused all sorts of mayhem for farmers milking cows or horse riders. Indeed, in Warrenpoint, County Down, we celebrate our own witch, Jenny Black, who is said to have transformed into a white hare. The tradition of ample dunking is still carried on at Halloween today. The Halloween pumpkin. Pumpkins are hollowed as lanterns all over the world at Halloween, but this is a tradition that originated in Ireland to ward off evil spirits and light the way for travellers in the most scary of evenings. However, it started out in Ireland with the hollowing of a turnip, when Irish immigrants made their way across the Atlantic in search of a new life, escaping the ravages of the Great Hunger in the 1840s in Ireland. They brought with them these ancient customs and practices with them. The turnip was replaced by the pumpkin, which is native to North America. The Halloween game of trick or treat is played throughout the world, but again it originates in Ireland. The poor would call it the homes of the wealthy to gather supplies for the Halloween festivities. In America, the trick-or-treat pastime really took off in the 1920s. The last witch to be burnt in Ireland. Legend has it locally in Warrenpoint, County Down in the north of Ireland, that Jenny Black was the last witch to be burnt in Ireland. However, the truth is more tragic. Brigid Cleary was set alight by her husband in 1895 because he believed she was a changeling, the belief that the fairies had substituted a baby with one of their own. Her story was echoed in the spooky children's rhyme, "Are you a witch, or are you a fairy, or are you the wife of Michael Clary?" The Burning of Brigid Cleary is a fascinating book about the tragic burning of a witch, in inverted commas, in a time of immense change in Ireland. Superstition, politics and the erosion of the oral culture. In fact, some British media used the tragic death of Brigid Cleary to argue that the Irish could not be trusted with home rule because it was so steeped in folklore.